Grace and peace, y'all, and welcome to Wise Perspective. I am your host, Jen the Wise, but you can just call me Wise. All right, I'm gonna get right into this episode. I just came out of a beautiful, reflective meditation where I was just sitting in my energy of who I've become. And as I'm sitting in this energy, what came up very prominent was how easily it became to distinguish who I wasn't on this journey. You see, I noticed that when you go on this journey of who you're becoming, you're hunting for all of the things that serve who you are. You're looking to grab any and every part of the new you. And when I say new, I don't mean being someone different. I mean stepping into your truth. Because that's what becoming really is. It isn't being someone new. It isn't finding out things about yourself that you didn't know were you. No, these parts of you that you're finding were always parts of you. You're just now identifying with those parts. And I was reflecting on that path, like how I got to this point where I realized that certain aspects of my life that I hold so dear and so close to the chest have come about, and it is by dissecting the things that I wasn't. I remember going through so many trying sessions of things where I wanted to see if I liked this, I wanted to see if I liked that, and none of those things was what helped me figure out who I was. It was looking at the things I already had adopted and recognizing how they truly made me feel to my core. What parts of those things that I identify with? What parts of those things that I not? Aspects of myself that I had adopted and held on to because I was taught that these are the norm. If I want to go a little deeper, like we can use something like dating as an example. Many would say, oh, can I take you on a date? And we go out to eat or we go to a movie. And these were things that I thought, were dates back in the day. But now, I can't identify those things as dates. I just do not. One, I rarely eat outside of my home. And that is mainly because my diet is so particular now, which I like. But it's so particular that eating outside of my home, I feel like I have to find things that I can enjoy. And it's not easy to find, like unless I'm grabbing some fruit or french fries, because listen, if you know me, you know I love me some french fries. But yeah, if it's not that, then I'd rather just cook it at home. I know that when I cook it at home, my food feels sustained. I don't want to have to trust someone else to put the amount of love in my meals as I put. Then, like I said, the diet also matters. Not diet, I'm sorry, my live it, because we reframing these words. We're taking back this linguistics. My live it. It consists of a lot of raw fruits and vegetables, more than anything, juicing as a primary source of my nutritional value. These things are not something that I can just grab from anywhere, from a corner store. I need it to be made in a way that's going to be sustaining for me. So I realized that in that difference, I can't look at taking me out for a meal to be a date. Plus, I'm getting to know someone. If we are going out or I'm allowing you to spend time in my energy, that also is a factor. If I'm chewing food, how am I getting to know you? Are we talking over this meal? Like things like that, I have changed how I view them. But it took for me to remove how someone else was going to view how I viewed it. I've had people who have asked me, yo, can I take you out to eat? And I'm like, no, I don't really like to eat outside my home. Plus, there's no way for us to really talk. Oh, no, it's not that big of a deal. You could talk while you're eating. You could, but I don't subscribe to that. And things like that tell me who is in alignment with me and who is not. And that is before the date. So technically, just the conversation of can we go out on a date is the date in itself. I know I like physical activity. That speaks to me more because I want to be able to have fun. I love high vibrational activities. Those are the thing for me. So, what is more of a date for me is going to the gym and enjoying my cardio session. Going bowling. I love that. Playing a round of tennis. Things like that. Taking me out into nature. Oh my gosh, and getting a meditation session. Let's get in stillness. If you can tolerate me in my stillness, you're someone that can be around long term. If you're someone who can see me in my peace and not feel offended, affected, or feel like that matter, it changes how you move, you're someone who can be in my energy. Now I digress. Again, that helped me figure out the who I am versus the who I thought I was. Now, sitting in that reflection mode and understanding that there's so many parts of me that I had to leave behind. I didn't necessarily throw them away because they served the purpose at one point. They helped me decide where I was going on this path of becoming. But knowing what I wasn't is what helped me know who I am. It wasn't the hunt for what lights me up because I naturally knew that's what's inside of you. If you have to find what lights you up, you're very lost already. It is inside of you. I love to color. I love to take my time and think deeply on important topics, how to change the world. I love stretching because I feel good after that. I love playing tennis. Like, these are things that I knew already I enjoyed doing, things that were disturbed when I was around the wrong people. And that was the sign of what mattered most to my soul. Because let's be real, that's what we're actually looking for, what your soul identifies with. And there's no background, no title that you can come from that's going to help you understand who that is. So where they say, oh, being a Christian means you read the Bible and you go to church on Sundays. That's not what being a Christian means to me. That's what is sold as being a Christian. I am a Christian who loves Tai Chi because I understand the aspects of energy and moving energy in the body. I am a Christian who doesn't go to a conventional church because I believe I am the church. If I want to spend time with Jesus, I don't have to be in someone's place that they told me Jesus lives there or this is where you come to speak to him. No. If I'm looking for community is anyone who is willing to be free because it doesn't exclude anyone. It invites all of those who are like-minded. These are the parts of me that already existed, but I had to recognize were either being ignored or they just were invisible to the naked eye, especially when it came to others. I know that there are many people from I call it my past life, obviously, because I live a completely different life. No, I didn't die, but my ego did. Like, she gone. I don't know where she at. But in my past life, those people who knew me would probably think that I'm either deciding to be something different or I've given up on who I was before, or even that I'm faking who I am now. But the truth is, they don't know who I am. They don't know who I am in my truth. And that's not to any fault of their own, because I didn't know who I was in my truth. And to go even deeper, most of them don't know who they are in their truth. So the real aspect of me hasn't been displayed until now, until stepping into learning who you are in your becoming era. And I found that to be a beautiful thing, but it shows me just how deep the limitations are when it comes to people really figuring out who they are. It's sad for me because now that I've realized the true aspects of myself, I would never want to be who I was before, because I was making myself small because many couldn't handle who I am. I was a people pleaser in so many ways because I was trained to be that way. I was taught very young that if you didn't have anything to offer others, you could not receive love, you could not receive support. Now, that wasn't a lesson that was put down on paper, but it was a life lesson that was being taught every time someone decided that me just being who I was naturally wasn't considered enough. And the fault didn't come from teaching someone else to be that, because we're taught to unteach, unlearn old styles of parenting. That's a part of this journey. The problem was that they were taught it, and that the person who taught it to them, they were taught it. It's a generational chain that has to be broken, but it starts with you recognizing that that's what that is. I know many who, when it comes to their children, they look at children as possessions. These are, you're my child. Don't talk to me X, Y, and Z way. And I understand respect when it comes to a child, but respect is something that's earned regardless of your age. As a parent, I've never had to tell my child to respect me. And I am happy that I could wear that as a badge of honor. They respected me because of how I carried myself, and because I proved to them that I was dependable. If I gave advice, my advice superseded everyone else, friends, others in their life, everyone, because I proved that I was willing to take my own advice. I was willing to make sure that it was based in truth, and they knew, based on the way that I lived, that any advice I would give is not coming for what I wanted to see for them. It was in their best interest. And even with that being in your best interest, I still heavily believe that life is about experiences. So if you chose not to take my advice and go down the path of most resistance, of course I'm going to be there to support you and, help guide you back. But it is your God-given right to go through experiences. We all need them. Some lessons are better served going at it the hard way, and some people don't need them. And your rearing does matter, because I will say, when you teach a child that the simplest way is to go at things from an understanding of the possibilities, not from fear, but the possibilities of what would give you the most peace, pleasure, comfort, that decision is usually very easy. But when you don't trust your parent, when you don't trust your guide, it becomes a lot harder, because you wonder whether or not their advice is not coming from a place of what's best for you, or more so coming from a place of what's best for them. I've been able to enjoy being a parent because I got to see the areas where someone could have made my life a little bit easier by showing me what could help me learn about me, instead of showing me the worst parts of themselves and expecting me to ignore it. This is definitely a superpower I've had since I was a child, to be able to see through other people's blind spots for themselves. It's one of the reasons why I was quiet for a very lot of my childhood, because I could see. I was born needing glasses according to the world, but I could see everything. And I pretty much knew that I was being told to ignore what I knew and pretend that I couldn't see, even though I could. That also is a part of my becoming, is accepting that truth has always been a factor. It has always been my guiding light. Being able to live in that is where I found my peace. So if I had to say there was one thing that I could pull out of this reflection that helped me figure out who I'm becoming, it was accepting that I only want to live in truth. I don't care what it is. As long as it is true to myself, true to the other person I'm connecting with, as long as it is truth, that's what I want. That was the deal I made in my contract when I said I wanted to do this thing called life. I wanted truth. And I love it because even my children know, you tell me the truth, it doesn't matter how hard the truth is going to hit me. It's going to bring me down 50% because at least I don't have to get over a lie, then the truth, and then get to the solution. No. Give me truth all day. My babies will come to me, tears in their eye, telling me the truth. But they know that in the end, that truth is what is going to set them free. All right, so I don't know. I feel like this is a short podcast, but it is what it is because I know somebody needed to hear this. What is your truth? What are you accepting about yourself that you couldn't accept before? What are the aspects of you that have allowed you to stay complacent? And what parts do you need to go so that you can live that way, so you can live free of the lie? That's one area I've noticed is that living in a lie, living in illusion, it causes anxiety because it's built on fear. When you live in truth, it causes you to feel free. You feel at peace. I never have to remember what I told anybody because I know the truth. If you ask me the question 2 years from now, the answer will be the same. So, what parts of you is not a truth? It's in those parts that you figure out who you're becoming. Because as you let those things fall away, life really opens up. All right. If you would like to schedule a consultation with me, I'm going to go ahead and drop that link right here. You may even see the QR code right here. We can discuss any of the topics that are on the screen and figure out who you are stepping into your becoming and who you are mastering you. Or even, what is your path to purpose? It's one of my favorite discussion topics because I'm great for guiding you right into purpose. Link here. Go ahead. Yeah. I love you all. Thank you for being present, not for me, but for you. I love thanking each and every one of you who listen to these episodes because you are what is going to change the world. When you can reflect on yourself, when you can look at who you are from a lens of truth, you save the world. You do. Because you teach others that they can do the same. All right, y'all. Love and light. And peace.